The Dark Legion is coming for you.
What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we are going over some of the best champions for you to invest in if you are a free-to-play. Looking so for more amazing gaming content, we are in DC Dark Legion. First one is going to be probably the most obvious, and that's going to be our healer. And that is going to be Mara. She is what I would say the best free-to-play healer that you can get without spending any money at all. She pretty much does what you need her to do. She's going to heal your team, and that's pretty much it, right? Really straightforward. One that I highly recommend you invest in if you are free to play, because this is someone you're going to use forever, pretty much, almost, especially for her force. I definitely recommend investing your AC/DC shards in her force. The one exception I have to this, and this is a little bit interesting, is we have Poison Ivy. Now, Poison Ivy, I would say, is arguably like the second best healer aside from Green Lantern. Obviously, Green Lantern is going to be your pay to win, but Poison Ivy, I'd say, is right behind that. Now, the problem with Poison Ivy is we're really not going to get a lot of copies of her as a free-to-play. I went ahead and I chose her. Complete that event as a new player. I think it's, what is it, 7 days or something. You got each day, you got a bunch of different tasks to do, and then you get like a mythic card that lets you choose a mythic champion. I chose Poison Ivy. Now, what you can do is you can go ahead and get her shards. Like, guaranteed way to get her shards is through the Darkest Timeline. So you can come in here, and as you go ahead and you complete this timeline, you're going to get these custom mythic champion shards, and there's a bunch of different champions you can choose from. So I mean, you can continuously go ahead and choose Poison Ivy from this. The problem is, like I said, as a free to play, over time, you know, Mira is just going to outclass her, because you're going to be getting so many more shards for her as opposed to Poison Ivy, because it's just easier to get her shards, right? It's just easier to get more additional copies of her. But Poison Ivy is a better healer than her, so you know, if you can get her, not necessarily, she's not gonna be like the same star count, but if you can get her pretty starred up, there may be a point where choosing Poison Ivy will be better than Mira. So just keep that in mind. Just one thing that I wanted to mention. And also, you could get lucky at the gotcha system, right? You could pull Poison Ivy, you know what I mean? There's a lot of variable factors. Next one's going to be a tank. That's going to be Wonder Woman. She is so strong. One that I highly recommend free to play invest in. And honestly, even if you aren't free to play, even just a low spender, you can get a lot of mileage out of her. Another one that I highly recommend going ahead, maxing out or investing in her force. She's just overall a really strong tank. Her ability to go ahead and like put a shield on is so strong. Not even to mention the fact that she has this ability where she does a fan-shaped area, so kind of like AoE damage of stunning enemies. And then she has another stunning ability as well. So just really good CC, the ability to put the shield on. Overall, an amazing tank. The next one is going to be Black Adam. Now, Black Adam is one that is kind of unique, and that is because as a free-to-play, we don't have any magic damage dealers, or in this case, what it's called, it's referred to as spiritual damage. So this is actually a type or a class of champion that's really hard to come by for free to play. There isn't a lot of these in the game, but Black Adam is one that, you know, everyone has access to right off the bat. It's a legendary. And if you need a champion who does spiritual damage, there you go, Black Adam. And it does come into play a lot of the times. You may face an enemy who has really good physical defense or something, but their spiritual defense or whatever is just not that great. So I mean, if we even scroll down, there's only right now 2 other spiritual damage dealers that we can get, and you need like 40 of their shards to unlock them. It's gonna be this guy right here, and also Constantine right here, this guy. You know, those are the only 2, and as a free to play, good luck, you know, getting one of those. So Black Adam, really good for spiritual damage. I like to think that those are like the three main that I recommend and I think are the best for free to play. After that, I feel like it kind of depends a lot on your pulls, like your luck with the bleed and stuff like that. There's going to be some people who are going to recommend Green Arrow. There's going to be some people who recommend Red Hood. Red Hood is really to get easy to get a lot of copies of his shards and copies of him in general. There's an event that the event's over now, I believe, but there was an event when you first started playing that gave you a bunch of shards for him. So you can see I already got him to pink stars. Super easy to star him up. So those ones, you know, they're decent damage dealers. Now, one thing that I'm going to recommend for free to play, and this is going to be a little bit maybe controversial, is because it's going to, again, depend on if you're able to get lucky. I got lucky with my summons at the bleed, and I got a ton of Superman copies. You can see we got Superman to blue stars. I believe that's what, 5, 6, 7, 8 star Superman. You know, unfortunately, not everyone as a free to play is going to get lucky like that. So this is an instance where like this character, this champion can be really, really good in certain instances early on if you get lucky. Superman's been carrying my team for a while now just because I've been getting lucky. Is it realistic? Not necessarily, but for the bleed, you do have the fact that you have the rate up, right? So you have a rate up, and we are going to be getting another banner really, really soon. If we take a look at the events, I believe we're getting the Joker banner right here on Friday. So we got Funny Business right here coming up. Every 10 draws guarantees a legendary. Those characters, those champions in the bleed that have those rate ups, they can be really good for free to play, especially if you hoard a bunch of your fragment shards, your summoning crystals. You can, you know, get one of those amazing mythics, and they can last you quite a while. You know, even just getting like a mythic Superman to 8 stars, I feel like this guy is gonna last me a pretty long time because he's just so strong, right? And that's the thing, is there's such a huge drastic difference between the legendaries and the mythics that you have to keep that in mind when you're building this out. As a free to play, I understand you're going to get a lot more copies of these legendaries, but just, you know that eventually you will start to get a lot more copies of those mythics, and eventually those mythics can start to, you know, overtake the legendaries that you currently have been using for so long. Some other honorable mentions: Harley Quinn is a really good mythic one. We got her up to 4 stars. Really, really strong damage dealer. I don't really like the Flash. We've got the Flash at 4 stars, and he has just not been doing the greatest, honestly. I feel like there's just better options. He's supposed to buff your team, but a lot of the times it just doesn't feel like it helps out that much. Legendary Adam just feels kind of like a weaker version of Superman. And you can see that, like, I've got Adam at 8 stars and I've got Mythic Superman at 8 stars. So it's like a no-brainer that Superman, you know, in this instance, so much stronger. Another interesting one that I want to mention is Killer Croc, another amazing tank. What I love about this champion right here is the fact that his ultimate reduces the target's physical defense by a percentage. This, I think, is amazing, especially if you have a team full of physical damage dealers. And the fact that it is a circular area, so it's pretty much like AoE damage and an AoE debuff. This is a champion that I highly recommend for free to play. That debuff on enemies, it is so, so good. These other 2 legendaries, Vixen's supposed to be like a really good buffer, but I haven't had any luck with her, honestly. Times where I've just wanted to use a different champion than her. She just hasn't really been performing to what seems, at least what her stats and stuff say she does, or skills say she does. She just seems like an underperformer. Same thing with Catwoman. Catwoman just doesn't feel like that great of a champion. I feel like there's just better options, especially as a free to play, even at, like, you know, 8 stars and 10 stars. they just still feel like they're really, really lacking. Maybe they'll get a buff in the future. But right now, as a free-to-play, I just don't think these ones are that great. I would definitely choose the other ones that I recommended over those two. And that is it. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see you later. Peace.
You need a bigger league.